What we're going to do is look at two more exponential properties. We're going to look at zero property, and what that states is anything to the zero is 1. And we're going to look at negative property. Anytime we have a negative exponent, what it does is it switches from the numerator to the denominator, or the denominator to the numerator. The reason that these two properties exist is it follows a pattern. If we have 2 to the third, that gives us 8. 2 to the second gives us 4, and 2 to the first gives us 2. If we're looking at the pattern, we see that we're dividing by 2. So that means that if we follow this pattern, 2 to the 0, what we would have to do is we would have to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 would be 1, and that's how 2 to the 0 becomes 1. Also, if we continue this, if we divide it by 2 again, and if we divide 1 by 2, what we get is 1/2, meaning that 2 to the negative 1 becomes 1/2. So we see that the numerator now becomes the denominator. And that's why these two properties exist. So when we're solving these, 6 to the 0, anything to the 0 is 1. So our answer is 1. X to the 0 is 1, but since there's a 7 outside of it, 7 times 1 gives us 7. Here we have a negative exponent. Anytime we have a negative exponent, we switch it, we bring it up, so that becomes 2y to the positive third. Here we have a negative exponent. It's in the numerator, so we bring it to the denominator, and we have 3 over x to the fifth. Looking at the next ones, these are similar. 10 to the 0 is 1. 2x to the 0 is 1. 4 times 1 gives us a 4. Here we have a negative exponent, so we bring it up. Negative 8w to the first, or you could just put w. Here we have a negative exponent, so we bring it down. 9 over x to the ninth. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at more complicated problems with negative exponents. So we see division, like what we did last time. This negative 4, if we bring it down, it becomes a positive 4. So that means we have x to the ninth. 5 plus 4 is 9. Here we have y's. We see that there's a 3 and a 2. So that means there's more y's on top. There would be one more. So that would be our answer. Looking at letter B, looking at our x's, we see a negative exponent. We bring it up. It becomes a positive. 1 plus 5 gives us a 6. Here we have a negative exponent. We bring it down. It becomes a positive. 3 plus 4 gives us 7. Looking at letter C, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to simplify the 4 and the 6, and that becomes 2/3. Our negative exponent, we bring it up. We add 4, so that becomes x to the 7th. Here, both of them are negative, so we switch. That becomes y to the 5th on top. It becomes y to the negative 3rd on the bottom. Sorry, y to the 3 on the bottom. There's more y's on top, so we put the y on top. There are 2 more y's, so we put y to the 2nd. Looking at letter D, we're going to continue this process. We see a negative exponent. We bring it up. It becomes a positive. 6 plus 4 gives us 10. We're looking at the y's. We see that there are 3 y's in the denominator, 1 y in the numerator. So that means that there's 2 more in the denominator. For letter E, negative exponent, we bring it down. We add 1. So that means that would be x to the 8th. Negative exponent, we bring it down. We add 4. So that would be y to the 8th. Since both of these are in the denominator, we put the 1 right here to show that they are in the denominator, not the numerator. And for our last one, we're going to simplify the 3 and the 9, and that becomes 1/3. The negative 5 goes on top. The negative 3 goes on the bottom. The 2 y's cancel. We see that there are more x's on top than on the bottom. So that would be x squared on top And then what we have is 3 on the bottom.